Stick here with another video. Today we're going to be looking at some videos about relationships. This week, my theme is relationships because this Sunday we're doing a shadow work intensive, and the title of that class will be Shadow Work and Relationships. So, just to stay sharp, to bring awareness, like I'm just more or less scouring the internet for content that relates to uh, people not being aware of the inner dynamic of the shadow, of the animus, of anything related to who you are as a whole being. Now, the reason that we teach about this is because it's not very common, right? When you have a little boy, you treat them like a little boy. When you have a little girl, you treat them like a little girl. When things don't add up or match up, you tend to be some form of confused, especially if you're the parent or close family member. Somebody might say, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? Because we are not psychologically advanced as people. You can have a particular ailment, mental illness, and they'll say, that boy over there, he a little off. So when we're talking about shadow work, there are specific psychological factors that only you will be in close intimation with. And the education of shadow work is moving you into a reality that is not purely an abstract philosophical concept. The education of shadow work is that this part of you is real and alive, just like you are real and alive. And imagine you as a human being, never being catered to, never being nurtured, never being realized. You would be like a wolf man or a wolf woman at that particular instance. But say, for instance, that you decide to shave, take a bath, get out of the wilderness, people will be like, damn, that wolf man is actually kind of cool once he get his shit together. Shadow work is you intimating this particular idea, and if you understand that analogy, you're well on your way to doing shadow work. Once again, when do we stop doing shadow work? We never do. The same way as you say, when do I stop breathing? As long as you're living, you're going to be breathing. As long as you're living, you're going to have to maintain and manicure your shadow. So it's a joy and a wonder to be able to educate on this subject. Appreciate everybody who locked in, signed up, doing the work, showing up for class hours, things of that nature. But for those who don't want to take the course, I'm still the hood mystic. I still like talking about spiritual things. I love sharing, love writing, and overall, fully committed to the spiritual development process, whether people are purchasing courses or just watching a YouTube video. If you're a premium subscriber to the Substack or just a free subscriber to the Substack, my goal is always the same for people to get intimated with their divinity. And so, with all that being said, let's just open up the reaction videos. I personally don't have many
Like
notes.
you're
It's just a very interesting conversation that goes in reference to shadow work, but relationships are boring, especially good relationships, especially relationships that bring you into a space where you have to be accountable, where you have to show up for this person, where you have to be consistent, where it's not a fantasy or a fairy tale. Some forms of monotony are ascribed to a relationship. The example that I have for relationships being boring or beneficial is like the lady that works in the bakery or at the store, and she works every day at this store. She works every day at this bakery, and You know what I'm saying? She just there to take your order. But she married, she got a family, but she working at the store every day. I don't think that's exciting for that lady to be working at the store. I'm sure she want to go on a trip to a island somewhere, but at the same time, she's showing up for her family in a way that's very unique. She's baking the cakes and serving it to the community, and people depend on her to be there. So, at a certain level, relationships could be a complete and utter fantasy. You meet the best man in the world that takes care of all your bills, flies you out to all these expensive, fancy places, or on the contrary, you actually have to put effort into it. It's not as glamorous as you would hope it to be, but at the same time, you're still participating in the joy and foundations of a relationship. In the context of shadow work, a relationship is going to be boring if you are boring. In the context of shadow work, a relationship is going to be exciting if you are exciting, meaning that joy is a concept that completely resides in the inner. I said joy is a concept that completely relies on the inner, and therefore there is no specific outer context or circumstance that elicits joy. Joy, you can't say they taking over the government, I'm sad now. You can't say this happened, now I'm sad. Because the reality of you not being sad is a choice that you're making, because joy is a choice that you make based upon nothing. It's just a choice that you make and say, I am in a joyous disposition. The reason why this is so important, because when you counteract this narrative and you place it on the person that you're in the relationship to provide you, now at this point the joy is completely removed out of the picture. Now you need happiness, and you requiring your partner to provide some form of happiness. And the reality is only so much he or she can do to provide your happiness in any context, in any situation. There is no man or woman that's going to sit and provide another human being with happiness. This is why the creator, God, source, the most high, whatever you choose to call it, him or her, gives us the foundation of joy. Cultivating an inner relationship with your inner anima or animus, your inner divine masculine or divine feminine, to become whole. So, once again, men have an inner woman, women have an inner man. That is what is called the soul. And the soul is conscious and active and integrated into this world in the same form and fashion as you are. The reality is, we just don't ever notice it because we are taught that our inward reality is our gender. So consciously, we think if we're a male, and vice versa. And some people can go to one extreme in this reasoning. But shadow work is finding a specific balance, a specific reality that then allows you to have a form of joy and wholeness, because once again, you're in an emotional state of being with this living entity that is your soul, that all good things come from, all blessings come from. Therefore, when you get into a relationship with somebody, this is the sharing aspect. This is the giving aspect. Now, shadow work is the reality that we are transactional beings and we do take from people and we do have emotional dependence on people. Shadow work is the realization that is taking place in the elimination or integration or the research as to why I'm even having this particular feeling in the first place. Not just double down on it and then expecting that person to gratify an emotional dependence that I have. So you say, this person is boring. I don't like this person. This person needs to do this. This person needs to do that. That is a projection that I have on this particular individual. Very lucky, very fortunate, very blessed, very auspicious to have somebody that likes you for you. 10 times out of 10, when you are a man, you move into the 30s, women like you for the things that you're able to do. Super lucky, you're young, you got married, you grow, you developed throughout your relationship. Or you met somebody when you was down and out, they didn't judge you for being down and out and they loved you for the person that you are. The issue with people is that they are high performers. And when you are a high performer, people love you for your high performance, but that high performance is a mask that you wear. It is a part of your persona. Shadow work is understanding the relationship that you had with your mother. What holes did you fill in with your mother? So let's get into I'm getting too deep. So let's get into this reaction video. And the topic of this conversation, we're going to watch two videos related to this specific video. Is going to be the initial video, then a reaction video to it. I seen the reaction video first, and I was like, I gotta find the original. Found the original, and I just want to share it with the family and just simply talk about it. So here we go.
Y'all think healthy
Relationships are
relationships get
boring.
boring? Like you're in a good relationship with a guy and you're enjoying your time, or a girl, it doesn't matter. Like you enjoy who you're with, you're enjoying your time, and then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but the fact that the routine is so good, does it get like boring? Like, damn, we need like
What do we need? If the relationship is good, what else do we need? So once again, you perform in a relationship, and this could be man or woman, a person that is fifth house dominant, sun, moon, and Leo, Venus in first house, Jupiter auspiciously in the chart, ninth or 10th house, high performing people get into a relationship with somebody and perform highly. And the reality of your high performance is that structure breeds manifestation. Structure is routine. Structure is continuous. Structure is not the most glamorous things, but if you're like me, I'm an INTP creative personality. Like I'll deal with structure, but I'll listen to music while I'm doing my structure thing. Like I work out every day, but I take that as a time to really get into my music bag. Like that's my time to really just not be focused on nothing intellectual, just be super creative, but it's also something that is very masculine. So I figure out ways to balance. When I'm working, it's a specific music that I like to listen to, music without words. So it's specific even when I'm driving, certain music I want to listen to when I'm driving. So I'm that way with structured everyday tasks. So I guess when you're around me, it's not as quote unquote boring as somebody that don't incorporate no form of creativity within their structure. Structure and order is a necessity, but also you need to have an emotional connection to whatever you're trying to like motivate into doing some things. So the middle part of this is, am I being too strict or am I being too lenient? And neither one is good. Finding a specific middle is where we're going to be really trying to focus at in our lives. But I say all of this to say, you're in a good relationship with a good person and you're figuring out what more do you need, that is not coming from a place of love. That's coming from a place of hurt, and that hurt is constantly Needing. So say for instance, you have a sore or you need something like you have a deep cut, right? That's what heartbreak is. Heartbreak is a deep cut. And if you put a band-aid on a deep cut, you're going to keep needing more and more band-aids because the band-aids ain't really doing shit besides covering up the fact that you got a deep cut. So your solution is not satisfying the specific healing because when we heal from something, we don't need, right? So the issue, and I promise you, you're always going to find this. You're always going to find this issue. You're a great person or a great performer. The jury is still out on that. It's going to attract somebody that's never going to be satisfied because either one, you don't teach that person how to be satisfied within themselves, or two, you don't know that they're supposed to be satisfied within themselves. You enable, you try to be that person to them. All right, baby, what do we need to do? You said it's boring. What do we need to do? All right, so let's stop this structure. Let's stop this routine. I know that we're not finished building, but it's okay if it rain. We can come back and fix it later. Let me acquiesce to your needs. Then you'll start to realize, and I think I joke about it and I think about it, but then when I get into the study, it's like, damn, men can easily ruin their lives from dealing with women that they go after. Women can easily ruin their lives by being with somebody that don't have their best interests at heart. So therefore, men this is the psychological part of it though. Men go after women. Men supposed to chase. We've heard that before. And women like bad boys. What have I just said? That's the accountability that you can easily ruin your life based upon your disposition, based upon society's way of structuring you and conditioning you to be. So you're supposed to be chasing women, going after women, cool. Then women say, all right, I got to deal with a bad boy because everybody say I could deal with a bad boy. Then you end up ruining your life behind these particular actions. And therefore, we got to really get into a space of shadow work to even bring about a solution because there is no solution in conversations like this. Nobody within this context is going to sit and say, "Damn, maybe something is wrong with me." They're going to say something is wrong with the social construct of relationships because I can be with a good man in a good relationship and still be bored. Something must be wrong with this man. I must need to be with a bad boy. I must need to be with a toxic relationship to somehow get my rocks off.
Some
Okay.
type of
Please,
discourse.
so
Like,
first,
oh, I need to yell at
your
him.
relationship is healthy.
Okay.
So please go
Very.
first.
Okay, so yeah, this is. I
It's
think this
too
really is
healthy.
the question for me. So yes, I do have a healthy relationship. But me personally, as a person, I don't know if it's a Gemini thing. I don't know if it's me, but like, I like consistency does not work for me. Like I'm very sporadic. Like 1 minute.
She said consistency doesn't work for her. And you got to be very careful with chasing after pedestalizing anybody of the opposite sex because that opposite sex is found within you, and therefore the peace that you need to make it through day to day to day until you meet that right person is the stability that you find in doing shadow work, because your mind is a very tricky thing. So you can have an opinion. When you don't do shadow work, that opinion becomes a truth, a fact, and a law, right? So I don't do consistency is an opinion, but since it's her, this is now a truth, a fact, and a law that you have to live out. Now, if it goes against your bottom line or your better judgment, that's when you have to begin to do some self evaluation.
I could do this, and next minute I need to do that. Like
Let's keep
a
reading.
schedule does not work for me, so I can't get bored. If you cannot fulfill like that excitement in my life, I will get bored.
So you got to understand the bottomless pit that's being placed before us. If you can't fulfill my excitement, I am going to get bored. As if somebody is stopping you from booking one of those where you jump out the plane. I forget what you call it. Bungee jumping. Go sign up for a bungee jumping. Go jump off a cliff. Don't make decisions in reference to your whole entire relationship and your whole entire life because you can't manage your emotions and your emotions stay dysregulated, and the anger that comes from boredom is going to be a projection. Because here it is, let's just imagine a man that is just standing in front of you and you say, I need you to excite me. Let's reverse it. Your need for excitement is being projected on the man that's standing in front of you. That's the way we need to start looking at these things if we want to look at these things through a shadow work lens. You need the man in front of you, just a blank shadow of a man. And you say, I need a man that's going to take care of me. Let's reverse it. I'm projecting my need for survival on this man. And once again, the sexes can be interchangeable because I've been in situations where I thought that I needed a woman to go halfies on it, 50-50 with me on it. So I'm like, I'm looking for a girl that's wanting to like work it out with me and type shit. That don't have nothing to do. The woman in front of me is a shadow of a woman. And my need for her to contribute 50% of a lifestyle that we don't even have is based upon my projection. So in order to get in front of this stuff, especially in your intimate relationships in reference to your desires out of that man, have you dealt with your inner masculine? You have a general name for your inner masculine if you're a woman. You should have a general name for your inner feminine if you are a man. Let me reiterate that because people will get abstract with this shit. And if I called you um concept of an individual that's not really there, you would feel a certain type of way about it. If you walked into my house and I called you a, hey, what is this abstract concept walking through my house right now? You would feel offended. Therefore, when we reference our shadow, what is his name? What is her name? Put a one in the chat if y'all understand this
I
concept.
love my healthy relationship, but it's like if we do the same schedule, I will get bored. Like that's how I be. Y'all see it when I do it with hair. I be like, one of me, I be like, I don't want to do no hair no more.
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm gonna go into my other hobby. But it's like
Or she might do too much of one style and be like,
Yeah.
I'm sick of this.
literally, like I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot do the same thing. That's literally why everybody was like, "How did you do college and cosmetology school at the same time?" Because
Yeah,
I
that
got
was too
bored.
much for me.
I kept going to work and doing school at the same time. So I was like, "Let's add something else to the thing." And that's how it was with the relationship. You have to keep it up. We got to go out of town.
Yeah.
We got to be.
And so, once again, you can be any type of person that you want to be. When I say I'm this type of way, I need a woman that's going to be like XYZ to compliment me or have the specific chemistry with me That's where I fuck up at. When you have a centered disposition, I'm telling you, you could be in a relationship and be centered, and a person could be flipping the fuck out. And you're the reason that they flipping the fuck out, but you're making it your business to be centered. At a certain point, a person yelling at you, talking shit to you, putting you through dramatic situations, you have to become an observer of it. See, what's the thing? You in an intimate relationship and a person is gaslighting you, trying to get you into dramatic situations, and you bite the goddamn bait. You in it too. Now you talking about her mama. Now you talking about her family. Now you talking about his dirty ass draws and shit like that. You're going back and forth. Shadow work is when you state what you need to state, and it's like throwing salt on a fish. They start wiggling all types of crazy. And you like, I see you over there. Now, once again, if you are in tune with yourself, if you are a man in tune with your anima, your inner feminine, you have no reason to be sad. You have no reason to be upset. You have no reason to be needy of another woman. You have no reason to have an emotional dependence on another woman. When you have joy, you don't need anything. When you are a woman and you are in tune with your animus, you have no reason to need a man. You have no reason to be emotionally dependent on a man. You have no necessary guidelines that you need to be provided and protected because you are balanced internally. You see the situation and you move accordingly. Now, once that is a foundational aspect within yourself, it's easy to be in a relationship with somebody. But if me and you are if I'm trying to take you out of the country and do this and do that and have this lifestyle stuff, before I take care of me, if you're trying to, you know, be all of this type of whatever vision you imagine that a woman or a wife or a person should be to another person, and that person is not giving you the space to take care of you, like really give you the space to really just, you know, be a human being, vice versa, like really just see that person as an authentic human being that need love, that might want to do stuff too, that might really just need some support. Like it's so much that goes into really seeing the person in front of you, that when you don't do shadow work, it is very disheartening in the long road of it. Because the more you with a person, the more that opinion that they should or shouldn't do something is going to be concretized as a fact. So a lot of times people don't even have to break up to be broken. That's a bar.
To keep it up, we
I'm
got
gonna
to go
add
out
that
of
to the
town.
library.
Yeah.
We got to be a little free. We got to do something new in the
Yeah,
bed. Something
right.
got to
Yeah.
be different.
So I'm gonna come back to that, and right now I'm gonna show just a 1 minute clip on why boring people, boring guys should not date.
Boring and nice as a man, don't date. If you're boring and nice as a man, don't date. Okay? If you are a boring, nice man, do not date. And don't let a woman find out that you're willing to spend money. Okay? Don't date. you're boring, you're nice, and you're not shy with the credit card, you're gonna get used, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally, but you're gonna get used. Okay, she's either gonna come to the conclusion and say, all right, he's too nice, but he's boring, I'm not feeling it, maybe we should go our separate ways. Or she's gonna turn around and say, well, damn, he gonna tell me yes anyway, I might as well keep it coming. It's gonna go one of two ways. All right, you'll have the genuine woman that really cares about your well-being, or you'll have the woman that's just gonna use you because you're freaking nice and boring.
This brings me to a point where I'm asking a question, like for real. This is psychology. If I'm not a good person and I want to be in a relationship, what's my solution? What is my overall basic solution when I want to have a relationship? Because I'm telling you, 85% of men who have a hard time with women don't understand this actual piece. Because we're not talking about one extreme or the other. We're talking about a balanced disposition. So I'm telling men the solution right now. You have to identify the woman inside of you. See, once you get in tune with that woman, she going to attract other women to you, or a other masculine, the spiritual masculine that the woman embodies. See, that's the key. But see, I don't mean being a passive observer to your inner feminine. Imagine your inner feminine is a real woman and she never took a bath. Like her coochie stink. That's a nice guy, right? A nice guy is the equivalent of having stinking coochie. I mean, sit down smell from hell, right? Not even got to sit down. She walking past. Like nobody is dealing with the girl with stinking coochie. If you picking up a girl, she could be the nicest girl in the world. And I'm using this as an analogy for a man that does not do shadow work with his anima. First of all, her coochie smell. Her hair ain't done. She out of shape. Don't even matter her size. She just out of shape. She just got heavy breathing. She breathing heavy when she get up to walk to the stairs. And she's skinny. So add that up. She a hot mess. And then you go into relationships and you like, well, I don't understand why these girls don't like me. If you're a part of that 85% of men who struggle with women, is because you have no relationship with your anima. What does the anima breed though? What does she breed out of you? She breeds an attractiveness to other women. It might be going to Marshalls. It might be going to Saks Fifth or Nordstrom's. It might be getting a stylist. It might be getting a haircut. It might be getting your hair braided. It might be bringing you into the gym. It might be bringing you into social circles. It might attract different YouTube videos, different content creators that you need to listen to and get some game in your life. The anima within a man is going to improve you to make you desirable. Therefore, it won't be hard for you. But that's being in tune with your inner feminine. That is the joy of being you, the honor and the privilege to even be around you. If you a man and you don't discover this within yourself, it's hard for her to want to be around you when you don't have peace within yourself. Like you might even look the part. or act the part, but you don't have no peace within because you haven't. See, listen, imagine how fucked up you would be if nobody called you by a name and nobody gave you a haircut, nobody gamed you up, nobody did nothing to your aesthetics. And then you wanted to find love. It would be hard for anybody. This is how your shadow is when you do not actually get into the specifics of it. Because it's real simple. They call it soul music. What is soul music about? Soul music is about love. We would think it's talking about the love between a man and a woman, but actually it's talking about the love between the conscious and the unconscious. This is the foundation for all things. If you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody. So when you don't love yourself, you are a very boring, good, nice guy because you're afraid to lose this woman. But the reality is, you repulsive. You horrible to be around. It's a lot of different nuances and cues that you niggas got to start picking up if you want to be successful in relationships. And we're not talking about, all right, hood, then I'm going to just start yelling at her. No, it's a middle ground of when something comes across the table that you not okay with, you bringing it to the table. No, we ain't about to do that. Or if something is in your gut, you don't filter what's in your gut because you don't want to hurt her feelings or some shit like that. You saying what's on your heart. That's going to resonate with her heart. And then it's going to cause a chain reaction of emotional connection. But this society got these men fucked up. These niggas think everything is on the external, everything is on the look, everything is on the aesthetic. And then when you get to the nitty gritty of, when you get past the lust and the limerence and you trying to discover love, man, everybody got a motherfucking podcast talking about how they just going from relationship to relationship and everybody is talking about it. Nobody have a clue.
He's going to end up being with a man who's not boring. He might not be nice, but she's gonna be like off on the side, probably doing her own thing. With that being said, okay, it is absolutely not a guarantee that she's gonna have a better experience with the guy who might not be boring but also not nice. It's just to say that don't be surprised if your girl, you find out she's been, doing a little extracurricular activities with another man, and you be like, wait, what? I never saw that coming. Like, that's not for you. You're too good for him. Well, yeah, I know I'm too good for him, but he's not boring.
And I would just say, man, be safe out here, man. Like, be so safe out here. Be so careful out here because now there's one or two ways to look at it. You might get hurt, or you need to start to acknowledge what's going on within you on a real level. Get out of the sensationalism and the fundamentalism of society and start dealing with your psychology. That's what I would say to anybody. This year, I'm investing my time and energy to psychology and understanding everything that I already know and just getting deeper within the subjects. So whether it's shadow work, whether it's chakras, whether it's astrology, just holding weekly classes on those particular subjects. And during the week, I'm just more or less just diving deep because at the end of the day, I don't feel that we're ever going to reach a point where we do not need to be psychologically sound. I just personally don't feel like that. So therefore, I'm going to take my time and energy to get sound on what these things actually look like cuz people can really just go through an everyday experience being used and not even knowing why. So I'm hoping that y'all able to like self-realize your anima and your animus through these reaction videos. Now, this is a man reacting to that first video that I showed, and I just wanted to give a
Do
different
y'all think
perspective
healthy
on the subject.
relationships get boring?
That is my point exactly. That's one of the main reasons why relationships don't work. Because of the way society thinks. It is out of this world. A comment like that? Ah, good luck, everyone.
Because I think when we looking at our grandmas and our grandfathers' relationship, they wasn't based upon traveling, living a good life for the most part, right? Depending on the types of families we came up in, the family was based upon building a foundation, having a home, right? Being a place where the kids could always come to, have a place to eat, place to sleep, things like that. Like the family was a safe haven. It wasn't a construct to help the man or the woman floss for per se. And in creating a foundation for your family, none of that is centered in happiness or whether you're boring or not, right? It was just centered on what's best for the collective, right? And collectivism, especially in the confines of a family. And when you are on the aspect of thinking what's best for others, I think that is personally rewarding, but I don't think that it's especially glamorous when you're doing the things that initiate a foundation. I've been on the other side, just carelessly living in hotels and, hustling and all of this type of shit. And when I was in that space, it was nothing more than I wanted than to have a house or a home or a foundation that I could go to, right? So anybody that is like banking on the good life when it comes to relationships is going to be hard for you to bring it into fruition in a real way. But I feel like if you wanted to be responsible and thinking about other people and like actually building a family with this person, it's probably going to be not necessarily some boring parts, but some challenging parts or some parts that's going to require you to lock in. And so I would say challenge your ADHD, challenge your attention deficit disorder based upon the technology that we use, from the TVs to the cell phones to the laptops, all of the to everything in reference to technology. It is distracting us from what's truly important, because the technology represents immediate gratification and the ultimate hormone disruptor. So therefore, if you're able to reflect and let go of some of the technology and get into an understanding of what's truly, truly important to you, your ancestors, your lineage, then locking in isn't going to be exciting, but it's going to be rewarding versus being excited is no real reward for that besides that immediate gratification of, oh, look, we're in Tahiti, we're sipping a margarita, it was a live band playing and we had a great time, the water looks so amazing, right? You have that, right? But what's the true reward, especially if you end that relationship with that person?
Say bye to relationships. Say bye to love. Say bye to all of it. Apparaling all of that is boring. And we wonder why, as a society, relationships keep failing. I got nothing more to say.
Feel like you pretty much ate on that. This last video, I have to like really think about it, but I don't remember. So I'm gonna pull it up, pause it, and then preface it, and then we can react to it. It's not a long video, just a minute and 24
How
seconds.
come men say
So
they
let's see
want
what
a
this is
woman with their
about. Okay, now I remember. So this video, we were addressing the last videos were really addressing the man in the anima possession, where a man becomes so emotional that he's just more or less out of touch and not present within his relationship, and he can come across boring, unexciting, so forth and so on. Now, on this aspect, the woman is possessed by her animus, meaning that the man is fully in charge. So, what you have to look out for when you have either anima possession or animus possession is that the anima taking over imagines that everything that it is feeling is correct. So, a man that is emotional, who doesn't have a specific drive in life, like he's not working hard every day, he is poisoned by the anima because he was a mediocre little boy and his mom still rewarded him for it. So now that he's an adult boy, he can be mediocre in relationships, mediocre at jobs, and then he still expects the world to like cater to him. And at the end of the day, he just looks crazy. A man that is not possessed by his anima understands that it's a problem and it's his job to solve it. His reward is in solving the problem. So it's men that don't even know how to change a tire. One's in the chat if you know any man that don't even know how to change a tire. So he will get a flat tire. He'll pop the tire will pop and he'll call AAA or he'll call his uncle or call his dad because he don't know what to do. That is an emotional led man. So on the flip side, when a woman is anima and once again when you possessed by the anima, you never have the wherewithal to think that nothing is wrong. So you want to be in a relationship, and this is why proactive men that chase end up you having the worst relationships with these types of men, because these men have the least inner constitution. They're under the assumption that a relationship is going to solve their problems because they're also under the assumption that you're going to treat them just like his mom. As long as a child has to do nothing for his mom to love him. Let's be clear on that. So within a relationship, if you do not have the proper anima realization, you don't have to do anything within your relationship and you expect to be loved, which is cool. But then again, girls will say relationships is boring and I don't know what to do. 85% of men struggling with women, only the top 15% is having their way. So now 85% of men in their heart of hearts feel like they deserve a good woman. Only the 15% of the men is making sure of that. These 85% of men are possessed by their anima. They are possessed by not having and trust me, the women have a bad sit down smell, horrible sit down smell, unattractive, repulsive man. I hope y'all getting this, y'all understanding what I'm saying, because it can be somewhat confusing. But it's a reason why a man is repulsive versus it's a reason why a woman is repulsive too. And it's clearly based upon the lack of relationship building with your soul, identifying it, manicuring it, curating it, having a real relationship with it. More or less giving it a bath, giving it a shave. Like, so what does this look like? For men, it is creative pursuits. The anima is feminine and feminine things. So a man should like take care of his nails, take care of his hygiene, because a man don't really care about that. A woman care about that. And this is getting into it with your inner anima. So in this video that I'm about to react to, this woman is completely convinced that because she got money, she deserves a good man. Dun dun dun. And what Ace Metaphor does, and I don't always agree with Ace Metaphor, but I feel that he's slowly becoming more and more red pill, or maybe he was red pill all along, just playing a role, pimping and pander. Now that he 2 million up, he can tell the truth. But he sets this up so beautifully that it's just something that I feel like I should share, we should react to and look at, because if we can see it from one angle, we should be able to see it from the whole other angle, and that is a truth. That's a truthism. And I'm without
How
further
come
ado,
men say
let's
they want
react to
a
this
woman
video.
with their shit together, but then when they get that, they get intimidated and leave for a lesser value woman?
How come men say they want a woman with their shit together, but when they get one, they leave for a lesser value woman? So once again, projecting. In this situation, she is the one that has her shit together. She is not the one with lesser value, because that lesser value is a perception by her. If we were to look at it objectively, maybe she isn't lesser value to him. Maybe she is super high value to him. But when you are poisoned by your animus, you are going, this is animus is masculine energy. You are forcing yourself into a relationship based upon what you have or what you do. You are a performer, wanting people to love your performance. But ultimately, when we're talking about relationships, that person have to love you for your authentic self. Now, your authentic self is in a constant state of development, psychic, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. And these are your responsibilities. If you have all of the money in the world and a man is capable of getting just another woman, he might go with that other woman just to get away from your ass, because there are other things that a man is looking for in a relationship outside of money. We all know this, but when you are possessed by the animus, you don't take a second to think. You go to tonight's conversation. You write a long, well thought out paragraph to ask once you get to the question. You never reflected and said, damn, this money really don't mean shit when it comes to this relationship. I remember when I was goddamn whatever age, and this dude just loved smelling my butt. He would smell my butt and be like, it smelled like roses. It smelled just like roses, baby. I'll give you anything. Now it's the money that you make that's gonna make you desirable. We gotta be somewhat for real when we talking about relationships. So peep the setup by Ace Metaphor. Brilliant guy.
Have you ever met a rich, lame?
Yes.
Many of them.
Several.
Right. So
He says, have you ever met a rich lame man? And they go on to say, yes, several. Many of them. See, we can understand a boring man. We can't really understand it on the other side. Now, in the hurtful part is that a man will never get it. That's the hurtful part. women, y'all have a chance. Y'all go into tonight's conversation. Y'all looking for the medicine. A man will have his girl, his inner woman, have the illest, nastiest sit down smell ever. And the older you get, the more stankier the coochie get. That's why an old nigga is going to be a little bit dustier than a younger nigga because the old nigga, he just stopped caring. Sit down smell atrocious, creating a nauseating smell when you get into the vehicle. Hey man, somebody rolled down the windows. This shit crazy. So once again, we are able to heal this, but we only gonna be able to heal this internally.
So having money doesn't disqualify a man from being lame, right?
No. it
Okay, right. Having success doesn't disqualify a woman from being a terrible partner,
That's also true.
a non-listener, right? So
I'm gonna repeat this because it was so brilliant and it didn't hit the way it needed to hit. It didn't hit the way it needed to hit. Cause the reasons that you're sitting and qualifying the things that you're quote unquote working on to attract a good person, that's crazy. You got to take care of yourself. That's crazy. And what do I mean? A man can love you in your brokenness. A man can love you when you poor. One's in the chat if you ever been loved when you was poor. You ain't have no money. That man still loved you. One's in the chat if it ever happened. One's in the please, ladies, if you watching this video post live, if you ever did one thing for me, comment if a man ever loved you when you was poor. No motion. No money. Oh, baby, that don't matter. I got you. Baby, that don't matter. I'll take care of you. Let's start this
How
from the
come men
beginning.
say
This
they
is
want
gold.
a woman with their shit together, but then when they get that, they get intimidated and leave for a lesser value woman?
have you ever met a rich, lame?
Yes.
Many of them.
Several.
Right.
know where he's going.
So having money doesn't disqualify a man from being lame, right?
Right.
No. it
Okay, right. Having success doesn't disqualify a woman from being a terrible partner,
That's also true.
a non-listener, someone that makes it hard that doesn't know how to be present in a relationship. When you say lesser, right, you may be, to your point, describing somebody that doesn't make as much money as you, but maybe in that relationship he feels heard, seen, valued. And what I'm saying is, with you, you have to ask yourself, if you are choosing men that you look up to, men that you feel like in their own right are pillars of the community, that have a great voice and discernment, and if you keep finding that these men are saying to you, hey, there's some things that maybe you can correct over here, and you keep excusing that, then now you're not making those improvements. Now, I'm not saying that that's you, but there's many women in here that are scapegoating the fact that they keep running away from men to your success, when it really might be your character. And maybe
I mean, that's pretty much facts, man. I mean, we can write it off to saying it's a thing, wrong with these men or something wrong with these women. But we gotta, if we having a trouble personally, we gonna have to figure out the solution personally. And the work is atrocious. Shit is gut wrenching to look at yourself to say, damn, my sit down smell is crazy. You know, that's for the men. A lot of y'all men got horrible sit down smell, and it's okay. But you got to get in tune with your inner feminine. Getting in tune with your inner feminine is going to breed a change in your character, a change in your behavior. And women, I mean, it's hard or it's easy depending on who you are. Some people are progressed into see it's an empathy that comes along with shadow work. And that empathy is all you need, right? To really be connected to that person emotionally and not be codependent, but interdependent, meaning that a healed version of me is relating to a healed version of you, and we're able to grow. Now, when you're in relationships without shadow work, what tends to happen is that y'all not really talking, y'all not really nurturing, y'all are moving off of obligation and manipulation. And when any of that obligation is broken down or any of those manipulations is seen through, y'all gonna have a trouble, y'all gonna have an issue, y'all gonna have an argument. But once again, a healthy relationship is when both people are healthy, not when you desiring or you wanting or you forcing or you manipulating. All of these particular things get you in trouble. You think that you're ready for a relationship, but you haven't done no work to get ready for a relationship. You just got on a dating app and uploaded some pictures and put a bio in there. And now you getting requests and likes and messages and DMs. But none of that entails you being ready for a relationship. And so when things steam up and heat up and things start to get to trigger and you start to meet in each other's family and all of this stuff, you get into a situation where you was never ready. You was never prepared. You never did the full due diligence in this inner psychological work. And so it is very normal nowadays for you to enter into a relationship and exit out of that relationship for whatever reason. And that is representing rather a break in the psychology of melanated people. There's no way around that. We can just be so normally going from relationship to relationship, having kids here, there, and everywhere. All of these types of toxicities that goes on in our community is based upon a psychological break. So if you find yourself in that situation, know somebody in that situation, bring them over to my channel, have them look up the countless shadow work videos that I've done, running classes this week and next week. Next week is going to be the final class, Financial Shadow Work, where we bring a lens to the financial sector of life because we all need money or we all need financial literacy. But that's just me. That's just what I've been doing. Hopefully, y'all took something from this video where you could begin to examine your relationship with your inner masculine or your inner feminine and get real with it. And stop expecting people in your life to fulfill the roles of your inner divinity or your inner shadow. With that being said, I'm the Hood Mystic. Check the links in my description. DM me, send me a message on Instagram at The Hood Mystic or email me at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. I will see y'all on the flip side.